Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gautreaux, Jordan Kinch's back in the studio. Wes Reynolds with us today, Randy McKay with us today, golf picks today. Glad that you're with us here on this Wednesday, a little overcast here in Mid-City. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Jimmy, we had a chance last night to attend a wonderful event in honor of Ruffin Rodrigue with the Mama Marino, the Epicurean Society awarding him the Mama Marino.
I think
award.
event is the appropriate term.
Yeah, it was.
We're going to dinner, just give him a little award. We'll get out. No, and in theme, it was a celebration.
Yes,
and Miss Allison was very, very busy, but I did have a chance to visit again with his son Adam, and had a really nice conversation with him, and just. This kid's obviously so important to Ruffin and such a big deal, and but just because they went to our kids went to the same primary school, went to the same middle school, and high school, and so we went to the same church, at St. James downtown. So it was good to visit with him. He's doing looks sharp, man. Everybody was dressed up. I'm glad we got the black tie notice because
March of the Penguins.
Yeah, and I went over to Sam so he could tie my bow tie, and he said, "Oh no," he had to give me a new shirt, new pants, new this, new he had to give me a quick makeover.
You looked nice, Jimmy. you dressed well.
So it was just.
Felt like if you had been a part of the LSU community.
It was LSU themed,
big time. You were there,
and they said that was important, from the video presentations to our own Gordy Rush to Kirk Herbstreit and others, and Verge Osbury there, and Will Wade and John Brady, and just the table right next to us with his teammates, and Joe Albergamo and Jamie Bice, Kevin Falk was there, the Hazards. It was, LSU was such a big part of what Ruffin was, and so I was, multiple bands.
Yeah.
And then, we've seen better than others, but they also played different music, others, and showed off just how talented musicians that they are. Just a lot of I thought it was really cool that all of the staff were the servers from Ruffino's.
Yes.
It was. I was blown away. It was a much bigger deal. Much. It was just a big event, and it was just a bigger deal than I anticipated. And I think that you could say that as you share that as well. Yeah, we'll make it. And Charlie, the mayor. Sid, who's certainly I've been knowing forever. I'm a little bit lost words, but it also captured Ruffin as far as, and we have some laughs, and that's the important piece, sort of a bit of a eulogy, but it's just laughter. We're not used to people that big, former, offensive lineman at an SEC level, and the professional ball that he played, being such a kid and such. It was just kind of goofy and silly, but it just laughs is what we have a lot of the better memories that we have of Ruffin. So it was really cool to celebrate, and hence the term, and that's the theme at Ruffino's, celebrate his life, man, and his accomplishments. And that Ruffino's is, people still ask me today, how's Ruffino's doing? Man, they're rolling.
Yes.
They're rolling. And, Howard and Megan are such big parts, and now Allison has taken more of an active role, but no, they are killing it. And so Ruffin Ruffin, they have sustained and maybe even elevated what he created. I thought it was a very special night, and we're fortunate to be a part of it.
We were very, very fortunate, and I thought we knew probably the vast majority of the people there. Everybody had a Ruffin story. Everybody's got a Ruffin story or multiple Ruffin stories, and it occurred to me, Jimmy, Ruffin passed in what was the height of the
how
COVID.
Long ago was it?
2020, the height of the COVID lockdowns, and while we had a funeral and a service and everything, it wasn't. How can I say, with the restrictions and all that at the time, it was difficult to have everybody in place to sort of remember him, and I don't want to say eulogize him, but you know how it is after you have a funeral and there's a reception and all that, and because of the restrictions at the time, we were limited in what we were able to do. I thought last night everybody that was there, obviously Ruffin was important to them.
That's right. There was a little bit of the line at the visitation at the church, at St. James downtown.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the height of all of those restrictions. So I just thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. The food was off the charts. It
was a big part to have Patrick Trahan, who's the current chef, and he does such a wonderful job, but also a former chef like Jeremy Langlois, who was there, who's now at Holmes House right now, and I had a chance to visit with him. I admire his work so much, man. Jeremy's very talented, just a nice guy, man. Just Stephen Hightower, Brad Watson, them, kind of a big part of these Epicurean events, and so Chino. It's named after his mom.
Right.
So
it was good to see Coach O last night.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Yes, Coach O, man, he's ready. Boy, he looks good.
Yeah, he does.
He looks good. Sam's done a good job with him dressing him as well.
The whole basketball staff was there. It was good to see.
I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't catch that.
Almost all of them, I think. Johnny Jones was there. Will Wade was there. I don't know if Coach I don't think Coach Stansberry made it, but Johnny and Will made it, and John Brady, of course, was there. He's going to the Louisiana Hall of Fame this weekend, so we got a chance to visit with him a little bit.
Brady. But me and Brady used to go at it, boy. But he just laughs when he sees me now. I really, really enjoy visiting with the former coach.
Yeah,
much more than our interaction.
Right.
That when he was the present coach, but. I've always said this about Brady, though. That Bob Boyd tree, the Tim Floyd tree. That's some sound basketball minds.
Absolutely.
So that's some sound. It's very nice to have, for a guy like Will to embrace that. Not everybody does that.
Right.
And this is Will fresh off of a big night over at Supper Club, big fundraising night.
Fundraiser.
He's getting after it. We know. This is part of, not just what the school is going to give him, but he's going to go hustle, and he's out at that event the next night.
Yeah,
I
don't want to pile on, but this is what we didn't have before.
Oh no,
come on.
This is forget McMahon. This is more than most do currently.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is his strength, roster building, and this is part of it. It's a fundraiser last night, but he is there interacting. All I could do is say, "Hey, man, I'll catch up with you later."
I talked to him for
people just wanted a piece.
I talked to him for maybe 2 minutes, and it's good to be home. It's basically what he said. It feels very confident about what they're doing.
Well done. Of course, Howard Walker and his wife. That was very nice to see them. Howard looks good dressed up as well. We always see him I really liked the staff being a part of it.
No, it was.
I can still remember, seeing Liv and some of the others at St. James. I'll never forget, kind of visiting with them, after a little bit across the street downtown. Charlie, we did a day trip one time, Ruffin and I. Merle was with us as well, but I said, Ruffin, man, there's no games being played. We're so bored, okay? I said, you want to do a day trip to Scarlet Pearl and Biloxi, man? They show the horses. You've been on horses, and the machines is every other machines. If you want to do that stuff, whatever. I don't even know if the tables. I don't know. So we did a day trip, And, man, we had the best time. Typical Ruffin, he hits a jackpot on like a video poker or something.
And I'm sure he didn't tell anybody about it.
No, but he's passing $100 bills around. I mean,
That's what I meant.
like Ruffin, put your money in your pocket. Like, but it was. I forgot it was that close to COVID because that trip, and it was just I don't know, just one of those, because 2-hour drive there, 2-hour drive back. I mean, you're spending time with people, you're talking to people. And I don't know, it's just a memory that I have. And I forgot that it was that close to COVID when he passed. Time flies.
The last picture I have of him, you remember 6 feet of social distancing?
I told somebody that story today.
The stick.
It was 6 feet?
It was exactly 6 feet.
And he was going around at 6 feet, and he's pushing it, exactly. But he
had the logo on the stick.
The stick was
funny.
Funny.
He walked in with his stick, his 6-foot stick. So thanks for indulging us here for a few minutes as we remember our friend and the wonderful award and dinner that we had last night. We're here at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City.
Love coming over here, and their happy hour is a great one. It's 2 to 6 p.m. Half off all house cocktails, draft beer, glass of wine, and select pizzas, appetizers. I mean, it is. You can get a couple of drinks, a pizza, and appetizer for like I don't know, $25, $30. I mean, it's really unbelievable. So, Charlie, if you come here on the weekends, or even most nights without a reservation, you roll in the dice. I mean, this is a popular restaurant, and we've been here for a few years now. And when you got a line out pretty much every night, well, that tells you something about the product. Ozzy and Miguel over here, they also rotate different menu items from time to time. We've got a few of those. Our salumi boards, basically our charcuterie boards. They rotate the items seasonally to maximize on what's seasonal right now. So a lot of tomatoes are great right now. So we do the bruschetta and things like that. But different beers on tap. The pizza is little spin off a true Neapolitan. The true Neapolitan doesn't have a flour, so it's kind of flimsy. We put just a little bit in it, kind of stabilize it a little bit. It's the best, my favorite pizza in town. It's a thin crust, doesn't weigh you down, so you can eat half a pizza for lunch. You can still roll and do your thing. So we love it over here. A lot of different Italian specialties as well. Way more than just pizza over here. The chicken cutlet is the Max Gotro endorsed specialty sandwich over here, and so make with the local products with our St. Bruno's bread. So just a really, really good stuff. Chad behind the bar every day. He is muddling away. He's doing a lot of different all the things to prepare for the homemade, the specialty cocktails. So there's a lot of attention to detail over here at Roca.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, the show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026. Supporting our Louisiana farmers, go to SupremeRice.com. Being at the event last night, we missed the NBA draft. And when I got home and, went to reviewing what I had missed, found out that I missed nothing. Really? No, hang on. Let me explain myself.
I will, Charlie.
How many drafts have we seen in any sport where there wasn't some kind of big curveball, a trade?
Oh, I thought you were talking about from the Pelicans' perspective. Period.
Period.
Okay.
Where there wasn't some big curveball, some pick that nobody expected in the top 10, or a blockbuster trade. And I know we had the Giannis trade, well before the draft, where it seemed like every pick went according to plan, and everything was as expected. we didn't have any major trades. There were no big surprise, maybe a minor surprise at number 9, where the 3 Michigan kids went in 4 picks. They may have gone in a different order than they were expected, but they were all supposed to go right there. We didn't even get I was watching some of the guys this morning. We didn't even get some of the outrageous wardrobe that we usually see. No, they said they were very. Again, I was with you last night. I didn't watch it, but that seemed to be the theme this morning.
That's different.
It was kind of much more conservative. So this all went. DeBoncha went first, which he was supposed to do. Peterson went second. I saw his interview this morning. I thought he was good, and usually
don't be fooled.
Well, I'm going to go on what I see on the court, obviously, but at least he said the right things last night. We've seen on draft night guys go somewhere they didn't want to go and look like they had been sentenced to, a prison term in Siberia or something. And Utah, okay, not exactly the most glamorous market in the NBA. He was nothing but positive, so we'll see. Boozer went third. He was supposed to go third. Wilson from North Carolina, Caleb Wilson went fourth. And there was a little bit of speculation at 5. Those were pretty much everybody's consensus top 4. And more people had Keaton Wagler from Illinois going with the 5th pick than not. So it was an as expected.
Yeah, Wagler went about as high as he could. So I liked him a little bit more. Saw that. Where did the kid from Louisville go?
To Brooklyn at 6. And then Darius Acuff, who we all like, went at 7 to the Kings.
I don't know what they see in this guy from Louisville. Streaky shooter, small, doesn't play any defense. Just kind of high vol. I don't know, man. I just
you had some differences of opinion on him, Acuff, and Kingston Flemings. They were all pretty much going to go between 5 and 10.
I'll take Acuff and Flemings before that guy any day. Any day.
There was a difference in the order from how people preferred it. This is how it went down. I like Acuff as well, a lot better than a little bit better than Flemings, a lot better than Brown. So I'm with you on that. He went to the Kings.
You're not a big fan of Brown either.
He takes a lot of contested shots.
He's going up, dude.
Right.
He's not a distributor.
He takes a lot of contested shots.
The Jazz, man, the Jazz are set up. The Jazz, I mean,
they are building very wisely.
The tanking and stuff like that, but their tanking's got a shot to produce some results.
They are.
They should be a playoff team this year in a very tough West. Right. But they got a lot of pieces, man. Now Peterson, so he's going into a favorable situation as well. I mean, compared to like the Wizards. I mean, come on, man. They give Trae Young all that money. They got no chance to win with Trae Young. Come on.
There's a lot of money. The 8th pick was Flemings to the Hawks, and this completes the bulk of the Derek Queen trade from last year.
So that's the spot where that was the Pelicans pick. 8.
It ended up at number 8.
And
got to be fair here. Hated the trade last year. A lot of people did. But after a year, this was not – certainly it wasn't the disaster that it could have been. If it turned out that Queen couldn't play at a high level for a rookie and this pick ended up being in the top 3, that was the worst fear, that this would have been an absolute disaster, that New Orleans could have gotten a generational player like DeBoncha or Boozer or Peterson, a real difference maker, and instead went for a guy who, may or may not click in the NBA. Well, that didn't happen. Queen had an excellent year.
On one side of the court.
Well,
you're throwing excellent. I mean, no, he is a one-way player.
Now, they have a problem in that defensively they're a mess with him and Zion on the court, and I don't think that's going to work, but we'll let the new coach.
He's always going to be a liability defensively.
But if there's 2 of them, then you can't play defense that way. I mean, you got 2 undersized post guys, and you got no rim protection at all.
That's just a couple of a list of things they have. Issues with their roster.
So if you have – well, let me ask you this way. You saw Flemings play enough at Houston, okay? Had a very impressive freshman.
All areas of the court. For a freshman, a real complete type of player, forced to play defense in that culture, in Kelvin Sampson. So I think it's a good spot for in some of the like a guy like the kid from Louisville could definitely use a year or two in a Kelvin Sampson system.
Okay, so
you know what I mean. So
yes.
so but I like he's not just a perimeter shooter. He did a little bit more than it, and they played in a lot of pressure games, which I like, and a lot of pressure moments. And man, that Big 12 was loaded, man. And some of those road environments are really, really tough. And man, he was kind of unfazed in his game. You couldn't tell if you're looking at film if he was playing home or away. I think he's just a mature. And I think going through a system like Sampson is a good thing. It's going to help him out.
If you could have him or Queen, who would you take? Because that's what this comes down to essentially.
Well,
is they traded that pick for
not exactly. Because remember, they traded for the Pacers just to get that pick, just to get that first round pick. So essentially, they gave up this year's Pacers pick as well, which they gave up as
correct.
well.
But this was the real core of the deal. Was this unprotected pick for the right to? It was. You're right. It was not the only thing.
Queen has proven on one end of the court that he can play in this league. We haven't seen Flemings play one time,
and that's,
so they're totally different players. I gotta believe that anybody that comes through Kelvin Sampson's system for any period of time in just 1 year is going to is going to benefit from it, and is going to pay a little more, have a little bit more emphasis in his game on the defensive side of the court.
But you answered my question in that there's not a ton of difference. It's not like, oh my God, this guy can't.
Well, they're different positions, they're different players, and so. But as far as just the piece, if you got yeah, I would side with Flemings, but not by much. Not by much. He's got to prove it. The other thing I like about Flemings, and I don't know how much of this is on Queen, because I guess he had to prove it a little bit, but Flemings is not that highly recruited. Not. He was not. If you looked in the draft board, this draft board, when he was in high school or that senior, when they do have those out.
Yeah.
He was not near. He played his way up. So a little less entitlement element.
Sampson's son took a special liking to him. He's out of San Antonio, and they would drive from Houston to San Antonio to watch him. Sampson's son, who's going to take over for him when he retires, took a real interest in him, and that's when the recruiting for Houston started to ramp up. But you're right. No, was he a 5-star that everybody wanted? No, he was not.
But, I mean, he proved, and so – I think that if he developed and he passed up a lot of kids on some boards, I think he's still developing. I mean, any Queen is to a degree. Queen's long arms are really he's a matchup problem for others when they guard him, but he's also, I hate to say, but a little bit of the same, totally different players, but not totally, but a little bit Big Baby. Big Baby, that was a headache for people to defend, but he was always struggling on the defensive end because of his limitations. And Queen, I see us in a similar fence there. I don't know, Charlie. It's close, but
Queen played 81 games last year, so and durability down there has been a huge issue for everybody.
That is not a given.
That's a big deal. Max, you're right. The during part of facilitating the trade did involve that trade with Indiana. I didn't like much of anything that they did with the pick swapping, but we get down to brass tacks. It's this player for this player. Don't you? I mean, what's left of the Indiana pick?
They would have had a first-round pick this year.
Yeah.
Instead.
Which would have
the Indiana pick?
But they would have had another
pick.
They would have had 2 first-round picks.
Where was the Indiana pick?
Indiana's pick. It's a little unfair because they traded him before Tyrese Halliburton got hurt.
Correct.
So they moved. They exchanged this year's pick for last year's pick.
So what? Where did it end up?
Well, this year it ended up 5th.
No.
For the fifth pick.
No, I will take Flemings in the pick.
Essentially,
yes.
I hate to say it, but essentially it was the 5th and the 8th.
Yeah, the Flagler, Wagler.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So you have to take into account that they moved up in the 1st, plus they gave up the asset.
And we hated the whole process of those trades last year. This could have been worse, okay? The nightmare is that you're watching, A.J. DeBoncha go.
Well, it's the 8th and 5th pick, Charlie, for Queen.
But it was.
You didn't ask me that.
Well,
because I'll take. If you ask me if Wagler and Flemings for Queen.
They didn't trade the 5th pick when they knew it was going to be the 5th.
I don't
pick.
care.
But it was Indiana. They'd been in the finals the year before. It was a bad trade. I'm not saying that.
I agree. I don't think you can give them any. There's no
that's
solace
what happened,
in the last
though.
night.
I mean, so who cares the way it happened? I mean, but yeah, was there a chance that he can get hurt? Yeah.
The other picks that caught my attention, the Louisiana kids went about where we thought that they would go. Alan Graves went 19th to Toronto.
That is exactly where, yeah.
And Sanak, maybe a few picks less than what we thought. We thought between 20 and 25. He went at 27 to Boston.
Same.
So
that's close.
pretty close. The 3 Michigan kids went in 4 picks. Dusty May in Dallas had his choice of the 3 at number 9. He took Morez Johnson. A lot of people thought he would take Yaxel Lindeborg. He took Johnson. He could have taken any of the 3 of them. They went in the next few picks. The last one was Mara. I thought this was one of the best picks just on paper because he was taken by Oklahoma City.
Well, Chet's safe. Again, somebody do his dirty work.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm not forgetting a guy that is, drafted for one specific reason, but Wembanyama's going to be a problem for 15 years, and you better put some size on him if you're going to get to the finals. And Mara fits that. Bill.
Chet is a good player, but Chet doesn't want any part of Wemby. Well, we saw it.
You could almost see Oklahoma City. Hey, we need. Victor's a problem. Who can we go get? And
I'm
all 7'3" of Mara, have at it. A couple of SEC kids.
I love the pick. That was my
favorite
man,
pick.
That is very practical.
Outside of the top 5, that was my favorite. Ahmet went to Miami made the pick, but he'll go to Milwaukee as a part of the Giannis trade. He went at 13, and LeBaron Fallon from Alabama went to Philadelphia at 22. A lot of people liked that pick. Thought that the Sixers got really good value. He'll be able to learn behind that really good backcourt that they've got of Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. So good pick there. But all in all, it was a very much this is what was supposed to happen.
Predictable.
And for the most part, it happened.
You're right. I was listening. I wasn't watching. I was listening to the draft, and I was shocked. Like, literally every bit of the mock draft that I last looked at was, like, happening before my ears. And so I don't know if there was much of a betting opportunity there. But nevertheless, it was no shock for sure.
Don't forget our friends at Go Chevrolet and LaPlace. Go Chevrolet West in Plaquemine. Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine, and Go Ford in Waveland. It's the Go Automobile Dealership family. Our buddies Lee Carney, Nick Richard doing a great job, but you check out all of the Chevrolet vehicles, the pickup trucks, Silverados and Colorados, the Tahoes, man. You got all kinds of different vehicles. And we also have a great selection of pre-owned vehicles, certified pre-owned vehicles. And if we don't have exactly what you're looking for, if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, we will utilize our nationwide resources to find exactly what you're looking for. I don't just talk about the vehicles from the Go Automobile Dealership family. The Chevy Tahoe I drive got from LaPlace and Go Chevrolet. Go Chevrolet and LaPlace. Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Go Chevrolet West in Plaquemine, and Go Ford and Waveland. The Go Automobile Dealership family. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing at any of these facilities.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Uh-oh, they let the big dog out.
Boom! Out of nowhere.
It's time for the big dog, Randy McKay, with his best picks.
Randy, what's going on, buddy?
Not too much here. Just going to chilling up north here, and then getting ready. I'm going to do a 4th of July here in Vegas, so heading back to the hotland. Will be plenty of
fireworks, barbecue. I mean, a little rock and roll. What's your typical 4th of July for the big dog, huh?
Yeah, there'll be a little fireworks, and I'll probably try to find some barbecue somewhere, but something like that, yeah. Usually it's out at the lake, chilling and watching parades, but I won't be around here this summer. That's what they do in North Dakota, but...
I know you're more of an NFL guy, but the Sorsby thing, and you know, more and more about it, I mean, this is almost like discipline your kid. I mean, you know, this is... Sorsby, Charlie, I think... This is the best route for him. It's got to sink in. He's got to have a little time away. He's got to have a consequence for what he did, you know, instead of getting back in. You know, I think this is the best path for him. He's not going to play a whole lot this year. I know he's going to miss a little preparation time. He could do all the working out he wants, but he needs to think and let this dwell for a little bit.
Well, from a mental standpoint, I think you're right, but I worry about a year away from organized football and what that does to your skill set, especially at this part of his development.
He wasn't going to play.
But being in those meeting rooms and those practice fields and all that stuff.
No, but guess what?
I mean, that's gonna. No, it's his fault.
No. He's got to pay a little bit more.
No, he does. I don't disagree with that. But is this best for his development as a football player?
For him, he has to. This isn't necessary.
The mental part, yes. The physical part, I think he's gonna hurt.
Randy, where did you think he was going to go if there was a supplemental draft?
Probably second, maybe third round in supplemental. Okay. I was thinking right around that range. You know, no team was going to pay a whole lot for him. You know, if you could probably, pretty close to 10 better quarterbacks next year's draft than him, if you want to kind of name them. But they're just as good as him anyway. But I would think second. You know, of course, teams will overpay if they see something in them that they think is really good, but second, third round for me.
I think there's I had him a little bit lower. I had like third or fourth because all the issues and fresh back into kind of him basically having a relapse would be a big concern of mine, and so I'm not, but. He's got some physical ability that gives him a chance to be an effective starting quarterback in the league. He has some seasoning. He has playing time. He has arm strength. He has size. He has very good athleticism. He's got some tools that give him a chance. And all the distractions. I mean, think about it, Randy. Hey, Deshaun Watson. To give you an example, what could affect a really good quarterback as far as off-the-field stuff? I mean, he is so bad, and he was so good before all of this off-the-field stuff.
Yeah, and then another thing these teams got to worry about, and of course I was surprised, Cleveland went so much out, and of course they didn't probably have all the research about what Watson did, that's the face of the franchise. You got to lead the team, and there's a whole new ownership to be a NFL quarterback than there is like a college quarterback, where you're pretty much the face of the team too. So you got to think about that.
Jimmy, you mentioned a relapse. I think, and I can't promise you he's not going to relapse, obviously, but I can say with a lot of confidence that the people around him are telling him, you're going to get another chance. It may be a year from now, but you're going to get another chance. You are one $5 bet away from a lifetime ban. You're one $5 bet on a football game away from never putting on a pair of cleats again. Yeah. Yes. This is the ultimate in zero tolerance. You will get a lifetime ban.
He needs more consequence than being back in a training camp in a month or so.
I agree.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, I don't disagree with that.
He is how many weeks removed from eligibility? A week?
And that was one of the big reasons at the NFL. You dumped this on us 3 days before.
This is like being a tough parent. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to see your kids, but you have to have consequence for your actions, if you're going to grow.
And when he does get back, wherever that is, they're going to be like, one more time, and that's it.
Yeah.
You've used up all your mulligans.
I think the percentages of a relapse, going through a friend and stuff like that, are reduced with this quasi-suspension. Randy, we are about to get into our different team previews. And, we give you a different team each and every week. Before we do that, get started, a week or two, whatever we'll do, and it's about that time. You've had to have some thoughts about maybe a team that, not a worst to first, but a team that, who are candidates to have a significantly worse record than last year, and who are like maybe the New England Patriots, and who are the candidates talking about off the field, issues and effect on what's going on. What is going to happen with Vrabel? Is that going to be too much of a distraction? And maybe some teams that like Kansas City, who was left out of the playoffs for a long time, a team that's going to ascend from their previous record from a year ago.
Yeah, definitely the Chiefs are looking to be one of those candidates, and it all depends on the status of Mahomes here. Everybody's and of course he gets the best training, and you've seen probably the videos on Netflix if you've watched a quarterback show of him, extremely motivated, working out and doing all the stuff to get back. So even when he was playing, you see his rehab every week and everything he does, so he's going to put in a full effort. So you expect him to be there, so that's an interesting one for me as a team that could bounce back definitely after the season.
Your thoughts on the Patriots, because they're at the top of my list. 14-3. We talk about their schedule. We saw what happened when they went into stiffer competition, especially on the offensive side. Here's a guy that's so close to winning MVP. That means the quarterback wins the MVP. That means they have a really good offense, and they had major issues once they stepped up in class in some of the defenses that they played.
Yeah, definitely they're a candidate for regression, but, of course, as a lines maker kind of factored some of this in, and, it's kind of looking that way that it's factored in, so it doesn't really propose a bet there, but you could see a definitely team, maybe just barely getting into the, wild card or something, and of course Buffalo's going to be the favorite in that division, so you're looking at that as well, but, Vrabel thrives in an underdog role, so that might be some spot where you could buy low with them as well, even though teams after a Super Bowl loss usually don't perform very well the next season.
Another one that comes to mind here, a local angle as well, and that's Washington.
Although, yeah,
5-12 last year.
Yeah, and they're in a division that could be gettable here. You don't know what you're going to get with this Eagle offense. With the loss of A.J. Brown and some of their offensive linemen are getting older in the tooth, and that's going to be a little bit more of a weaker area that used to be a dominant area. So, and then you never know what you're going to get in that Dallas circus down there, and and of course the Giants are a young and upcoming team that might be a year away. With the new coach Harbaugh in there, so healthy Jaden Daniels could have a big year. It could be one good year, one bad year, and then this could be the good year for him. So you could see them being a candidate for a rise there.
Wonder if they end up with Brandon Ayuk, who has essentially tried to trade himself from San Francisco to Washington.
But how has Deebo Samuel worked out?
He is very much past his prime. He had a lot of miles on him.
They want to fish in that pond again?
Ayuk is certainly
I know it's
concern.
They're a totally different player. I get that, but still.
The league is waiting for San Francisco to release him so that nobody has to give up any trade value for him. And he's trying to destroy the Niners' leverage by telling anybody who'll listen, I'm going to play for Washington. Like I said, he's trying to trade himself. But when they bring him in eventually in training camp, is he going to be a difference maker?
Randy, does he have enough weapons surrounding him in Washington right now? Of course, they're trying to just supply him with the most while they have him on a rookie deal.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close to having enough there. We'll see what they do there. I got to look at all their weaponry and see everything. But You could still probably get one more good year out of Samuels, and of course you got Terry McLaurin, who's getting a little older as well. But they addressed it, I believe, with a pick in the wide receiver room there, and we'll see what happens. So, I wouldn't. These headache wide receivers, I wouldn't put in a bid for any one of them. I mean, just too much diva in them, and they wouldn't be on my team if I was coaching.
He's right. Randy is, of course, Antonio Williams, the wide receiver out of Clemson, was a high third-round pick for them. Figures in on the top of the depth chart in the top three receivers.
Detroit had a winning record, but not an 8. But, man, it just that division is something. I mean, tie for last with the Minnesota Vikings last year. Your thoughts real quick before we wrap it up with Detroit.
Well, Detroit's got the easiest schedule, so they're definitely one that is trending as far as a trendy pick for everybody, and looking like they got the best of the scheduling there. Of course, as always, if they stay healthy, the depth there, we've seen last year isn't good when they got injured, and that cost them last year.
All right, Big Dog, anything else you on or you preparing for as we get are you going to be in Vegas? We're going to be back there for the sign-up Radio Row, week 0 for college football at the end of August, doing a show at Circa.
Yeah, I sure can probably come up there for that, and I'll see you guys then. But, yeah, I'm just preparing and, looking at more of these guides and getting ready for the NFL season. So anytime you want me to break something down, let me know.
We will, bro. Follow Randy on Twitter at RR39. Thank you, Randy. Good luck to you, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck, everybody out there.
All right, don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings, a full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Our great team at Legacy Title, Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing, nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Texas A&M made it official, the news that had broken a few days ago, bringing Nolan Cain, the former LSU player and coach, back as their associate head coach and their recruiting coordinator.
Oh, he's leaving Austin.
He's leaving Austin.
Did you say Texas Tech or A&M? He went to A&M.
A&M. Yeah. Did I say Texas Tech?
No, he said A&M.
Okay,
he said A&M.
Okay.
No.
I'm so used to hearing Sorsby.
No, he definitely said A&M.
Just stuck in my head.
This is a little bit unusual, I would say. First of all, I'm a touch surprised that he didn't get a head coaching job this cycle. I expect that next cycle he will get one. If he's not the top assistant in line to get a head coaching job from the power conferences, he's in the top 2 or 3. So I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't get it.
South Carolina hired that guy?
They hired the guy from Coastal Carolina. Okay. Then you're right. There weren't a lot of jobs open
that's
this cycle.
In-state. That's easy.
I'm not saying they made a bad hire. I'm just saying I thought Nolan would have gotten one of the jobs, but there weren't a lot of jobs open this year. But he didn't stay at Texas. Michael Early, who's the head coach there, was on staff with Nolan when Schloss left. They promoted Early, and then Nolan had a decision to make: stay in College Station or go to Texas. Well, he went to Texas with Schloss. A year later, he's back. It's not like Early didn't know who he was a year ago, and I hadn't talked to Nolan, who we know very well. But I would ask, okay, what's different now than at this time last year when 2 years ago when you decided to go to Texas. You got to figure the
You've been with Schlossnagle how long?
3 years, maybe 3 or 4.
Well, I got to practice what I preach. I mean, you don't load the moving truck for less money. So
you got to figure the money's comparable with those two schools, wouldn't you think?
This is a surprise to me, Charlie. I mean,
me too.
I didn't think he was leaving. I think that the prospects for next year are better. My money's on Texas going to have a better year than Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So to go back to A&M, they had to give you more money. I mean, that's
you would think.
No, I mean, he has to, and I mean, we can.
nothing against Michael
no
Early,
way
but Schlossnagel's a better head coach, so you're working for a better head coach at Texas for sure.
Yes, and he's got familiarity. He's got a great deal with Schlossnagel. I'm surprised he is moving for another assistant job. I thought I would have bet my house that when he leaves Austin, he's going for a head coaching job in a good one.
I did too.
No,
Not just
mid-level
No.
job.
And I think at this time next year he will be a head coach in a power league. Hour number 2 here at Roca Pizzeria live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Here at Roca live at lunch. Come by and see us here on Government Street in Mid-City. Jimmy, what we just watched this table next to us order, and they were describing that sauce. You knew exactly what it was.
Charlie. It's bread with goat
really
cheese. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
I think we might have to have some of that as soon as the show's over.
I mean, it's I know the garlic knots are a real popular appetizer over here as well. So I mean, it's just part of the. It's so many different menu items, and people people just salads, sandwiches, but some of the different appetizers that we have over here. You can do the Brussels sprouts, the brown butter mushrooms, the baked goat cheese, like you talk about with the focaccia bread, the shrimp aglio. Is a local pan-seared shrimp with a white wine, lemon butter, garlic on focaccia. The arancini. So the Roca meatball, those meatballs are good, man. House smoked wings we do over here. We do the citrus olives, the meatballs, the hummus, salumi board, a lot of different appetizer options over here at Roca.
Yesterday, we didn't have a chance to get to this story, but we will now. The PGA Tour announcing their new format, and they are going to a format that, Max, keep me straight here. I think got a championship level, which is your 4 majors, 23 or 24 events. This is the Players. This will include the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup, the 4 majors, and all of the elevated events. $20 million purses and 120-man fields. 2 cut down to half on Fridays, and a challengers circuit, I'm going to call it, of a group of 15 to 20 tournaments that is the next tier of golfers. So how is this different from what we've had before? Well, if you had your PGA Tour card and you wanted to play a non-elevated event, you were free to do so. That won't be the case. If you are on the champions level, then you will not be able to play in any of the challenger circuit events. So this gets right to the heart of the Zurich, which we don't think is going to be on the championship level. This is going to change a lot of things for the Zurich, starting with Rory McIlroy was here 2 years ago. Shane Lowry was here, that winning team. We saw Matt Fitzpatrick here this year. Colin Morikawa is a staple there because Zurich is one of his big sponsors. All of that goes away. So you're left with a group of golfers that is relatively unknown. So I would have 3 questions as we're moving forward here. Number 1, can you keep your sponsor? Number 2, can you keep your date? And number 3, can you keep your format? And they may want to change the format. They may want to change the date. I know they don't want to change sponsors, but those 3 things are going to be in play. And if you do keep the format, is a win, because if you win twice on the Challenger Series, you are elevated to the champions level. Well, does this count as a win? You didn't get world golf ranking points, right? If you or did
correct? You did not get
world golf ranking
but
points.
You did get PGA Tour sort of classification as a win,
and you did not get an invitation to the Masters, which winning any individual tournament will give you. So the future of the Zurich, I think, is very much in a state of flux right now. They've got a strong sponsor, a very strong title sponsor, and a long, long history But without the top players, I think there will be a Zurich Classic, but I don't know if it's going to resemble what we've seen in professional golf in New Orleans moving forward. It's not going to look the same.
You could argue that there haven't been many top players.
That's what I was about to say. How much difference we talking about? You named four.
You're losing. You're losing some draw. I mean, you can sell the fans on the Fitzpatrick brothers and Brooks Koepka playing with Shane Lowry and
John Rahm won this thing 5 years ago
with Ryan Palmer. Yes.
Okay.
Jordan Spieth played in it at one point, and then you
Sam
had
Burns.
But
up with your boy from Florida. It starts with an H.
Billy Horschel.
He's
won it a few times.
Yeah.
So I think what's interesting is if you're the Zurich, it's a bummer, right? If you're a fan who wants to go watch golf at the Zurich every year, this is not the greatest news. From the PGA Tour's perspective, they think that we need to have a more firm schedule to where you tune in this weekend, you know you're going to have the best players in the world on these dates. And you have everyone playing, and so there's no questioning, the field, I just tuned in. The field, they have nobody. Where's Scheffler? Where's Rory? They're not playing this week. So it's more structure for the PGA Tour. But from the Zurich's perspective, I think it will continue because I think the Zurich wants to be involved. The PGA Tour is very good at selling these things. They sell alternate field events, right? They're events this year, for example, that go up against other PGA Tour events. Are people really watching that? Not really, but they get sponsors. They get somebody to put it on the Golf Channel.
Are you gonna have full-time? Are you guaranteed to have full-time television for the Zurich?
No, so these Challenger Series events, they're probably going to be on the Golf Channel, is what I'm imagining. They're not going to be on CBS or anything like that. So you're going to see that distinction as well, unless they fall on a week in which the Championship Series, one of the top events, which I guess they'll get rid of the official signature event model. It's just going to become the Championship Series, right? There's not going to be elevated events on the Championship Series. But yeah, I think there are going to be some Challenger Series that might make it to, more traditional TV.
You're going to be going up against the championship. I mean, there's not going to be any open weekends on that Champions level
Well, there
schedule.
will because
Really?
they've got to weigh in some bye weeks, right? If you're going to have everyone playing every week, they're going to build in some where they can elevate the Challenger Series those weeks, but those are going to be minimal. Those are going to be
you're talking
minimal.
about 24 events from February to August. You ain't got a lot of.
There was a report that one of the Championship Series, one of the top level series proposals was to have golf before and after the Masters. So you're taking away an opportunity for. You're basically telling the top players in the world to play the week after the Masters. So there's going to be more structure. The players will know their calendar more. But, yeah, if you're the Zurich, you're going to miss out. And if you're Scotty Scheffler, who likes to play in your hometown event at the Byron Nelson, assuming the Byron Nelson doesn't make it to the Championship Series, Scotty Scheffler cannot play in the Byron Nelson. We talked about that before, but you cannot play in the Challenger Series if you're in the championship. Now, I will say for the Zurich, you might say, well, that's unfair. Sam Burns can't play at the Zurich. He can't play in Louisiana. Well, Sam Burns hasn't played in the Zurich the last couple of years anyway, so it's not like that's been a big issue that the Zurich is going to now
But just for
face.
him, I mean, in future Louisiana, I mean, David Toms used to always play this event when he was on the tour, the regular tour full time. So yeah, it does. It does pull out some of those names, and it's not just the Zurich has had such a foothold in the community in New Orleans. The Four Kids Foundation has been by all accounts, a smashing success with the programs that they have initiated. I didn't know this number until I read this morning, I think it was Jeff Duncan did the column, that they contributed $3.6 million to local children's charities in New Orleans, okay? Well, that's a lot of money. And the things that they've done in the community and all that have been 100% positive as far as I can say. You don't ever hear anything bad come out of there. But these are real challenges. I mean, there was a challenge when they went to this format. Was this going to work? Well,
it saved them in a lot of ways.
Yes. This is unlike any challenge, I think, that they have seen in the history of the event.
Yeah, I'd wonder if they'll get rid of the team model if they go to the Challenger Series. But yeah, I think the Zurich's done a great job. I think they're well run. I think they make the most of their situation. they have different each of these tournaments have directors, and they try to maximize their ability. We're actually going to see one this week at the Travelers. It's in Cromwell, Connecticut, and they've made it an elevated event. It's not a super golf course. It's kind of fun. The back nine's kind of interesting, but there's nothing about the Travelers that suggests that it should be an elevated signature event, but it has been because the players like it so much, because it's such a well-run tournament, and the community embraces it. Cromwell, Connecticut is not a massive market, and the PGA Tour is going to try to go to more of these big markets. And so while the Zurich has done the best that they can, I think they're going to survive in some capacity, but it's just not going to be what we're used to seeing. And it's the Challenger Series. Rory called it a glorified Korn Ferry event last week at the U.S. Open. He walked those comments back. I think Brian Rowlap, this soon-to-be commissioner and also CEO of the PGA Tour, probably talked to him, and Rory also endorsed the changes. But nevertheless, I think his sentiments aren't unfounded. It's going to feel like a lesser than
They're
event.
right on the money.
But
okay.
the PGA Tour already has lesser than events. Now, I will say, these elevated events that the top players play in, the difference between there only being 70 players, like we have this week, and then 120 is a big difference. You're bringing in a good enough player group to where I don't think any of the tour pros can complain that they're being singled out and that they're going to now have to play on some glorified tournament, which there is going to be some ability to promote and relegate players in and out of.
This is what I know about tiers of professional sports, okay? Had a minor league manager tell me this once, and it really rang true. He says, you know what? Everybody, single A, double A, triple A in baseball, he says, you know what everybody in the ballpark has in common outside of the fans? He says, nobody wants to be there. Everybody wants to move up. Players, coaches, managers, groundskeepers, PA announcers, public relations guy, everybody is trying to move up. It's going to be that way with golf, okay? Everybody who's on the Korn Ferry Tour is there for one reason. They want to get to the PGA Tour. It's going to be the same. It's
minor league golf.
Yes, it is minor league golf. You call it Challenger
and
Series.
And there are relegations as part of the new deal, right?
Right, so 120 you can move in, and the top, I think the bottom 20% of that top series, you're going to get moved down no matter who you are. It's going to be about pedigree. There will be some exceptions, I'm sure, like Tiger, if he wants to play. I'm sure he can play whenever he wants. But there's a lot of fluff in the PGA Tour right now that this gets rid of. There's some 30-time, all-time PGA Tour winners. I'm sorry, do I need to see Zach Johnson getting exemptions, or Matt Kuchar, or some of these has-beens, Jim Furyk, who get in these events sometimes? Probably not. That they're nostalgic for some of these, but the championship series, they're not going to have sponsor exemptions. You're not going to be allowed to bring in the local kid or some old guy who won your event before. Like, that's fluff. To me, that's not professional sports. It's just bringing in a guy because you feel like he's some value.
I think the team format is going to go away if they can't guarantee both guys a credit for a win that moves them up, because otherwise, if you're, like I said, everybody that's in this thing wants to move up. So if you're saying, well, if I go to New Orleans and I play on a two-man team and we win, I don't get credit for that. That's not like one of the wins I need to move up. So now it's just about money. And, look, you'll get a field, you get a decent purse, but a lot of those players are going to say, man, look, I'm really on this Korn Challengers Tour, because I want to move up. And if this doesn't help me do that, then I'm not going to go.
It's a shame because we always kind of like, yeah. And nobody criticizing the reward of winning that event now, what Fitzpatrick has done with it. What he has done with it has made it a lot more valuable, a lot more, a lot more coveted. So.
But that's in the current.
That's in the current.
Right, no, I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so right when you finally get a little juice.
And these changes are coming in 2028, so we will see the Zurich as normal next year, 2027, and you'll probably see I'm sure you'll see the Fitzpatricks come back. You'll see some of the top players, but that might be it in terms of championship level players at all. There aren't many, but that'll probably be it for the Zurich.
We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store. The Pierre Part Store, also open in LaRose and Lockport. If you're doing construction on your property this summer, lumber delivery available out of Lockport and out of Pierre Part. outdoor cooking equipment, from the smaller grills and griddles all the way up to the big green egg cookers and all of the accessories. You're working on your property, hand tools, power tools, outdoor power equipment, dressing up the patio furniture, poolside furniture, and so much more at these properties. Special touch. You go out and you're doing projects at your home and you can do it yourself. Asking for a little bit of guidance. It's better than a YouTube video. Talk to them. They'll walk you through step by step. Make sure you're not wasting time or money. TheThibodeauStore.com will get you to all 4 locations, the same website. Check out the specials right now from Broil King. Welcome to the kingdom. Thibodeau Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. Pierreport Store, Highway 70 in Pierreport, and TheThibodeauStore.com. Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
Oh, Wes, so close. So close. Nice job on the Xander top 20, but we have talked about it a lot. The Burns, I mean, so close. He was so good on Sunday. Your thoughts? And were you able to monetize, or did you see exactly how short of a price did Wyndham Clark get for a possible monetization of the Burns bet?
Yeah. I got out and at least got out of my features liability with excuse me, with Clark. Clark, I think, did get to like even money at one point, but Burns never could quite get the lead, and he made a heck of a run. I'll credit Wyndham Clark, though. He did hold his medal. Crowd obviously wasn't with him, but I think that was a little bit more circumstantial than it was like anything really personal, because you're paired with number 1 in the world, and you also have a 6-shot lead in the U.S. Open. And people want to see carnage, and people want to see what is a typical U.S. Open. So, they were rooting against him, of course, and I was for monetary reasons. But all of a sudden, Sam Burns got off to that really good start, 3 birdies in the first 7, and it's like, okay, here we go. Somebody's going to come challenge him, but just couldn't make that putt on 18. He's such a good putter and just misses it by 4 inches. So, credit to Clark. He's ruined a couple U.S. Open tickets for me. I had Rory a couple years ago at the Los Angeles Country Club, and he couldn't make a putt, and Wyndham Clark, of course, gets it done. So he's been a little bit of the bane of my existence at U.S. Opens a couple times now.
He is much decorated path to his PGA card. He was the world number 1 as a junior. He was National Player of the Year while he was at LSU. What's your thoughts about him moving forward? For such a long time, Wes, our conversation with Burns was he's got a challenge, in a major. Well, he's doing that now. And, this was as good of a showing that he's had in a major as far as a particular day. Your thoughts about him moving forward? Is it just a matter of time before he breaks through, or maybe not?
Yeah, I think so. He's only, it seems like he's been out there forever, but he's only 29 years old. So some guys peak right away, and then some guys, peak when they start to turn 30, and I think maybe that's going to be the group that Burns is going to be part of. He's just being more competitive every single week. I think he's driving the ball better. He can hit it long. It's just, okay, let's keep it in the fairway a little bit. Let's improve on them irons, and we know that the putting, he can pretty much putt on any surface and do that very well. He's always one of the leaders in strokes gained putting. So I think Burns is going to be fine. And, it takes a few times for some guys. You got to challenge, and get close a couple times in these majors before you can break through. But I think eventually he's got the talent in the game. He's going to break through and win one of these things.
We've discussed a lot this week about the treatment that Wyndham Clark had. And now listen, a golf event is not an SEC football venue. So it was a little rough, man. And Scheffler said, look, man, they crossed the line with a lot of this stuff. But from a golf perspective, got to give him a little bit more credit for Wyndham Clark for enduring that type of treatment. It could unravel a lot of guys. It didn't to him. And he responded when he had to give him that 2-stroke cushion entering 17 as well.
Yeah, no question. So I do give him fair play and fair credit for that. Now, and you're also still having a little bit of pressure now, a lot less with a 6-stroke lead starting the final round, but you're playing almost heads up seemingly with the world number one. And to be able to, not, yeah, he gave a couple back because it's a hard course and it's the U.S. Open on Sunday, but I felt he held up pretty well and dealt with it. Now the caddy started to annoy me after talking before every shot, and they got him mic'd up and saying good process, and I'm like, okay, man, I'm trying to win some money here, so stick that process, all right?
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought that, because I was like, okay, I've had enough of the process. It was every hole.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were watching with the sound up, Jimmy.
No, I didn't have the sound on.
He's mic'd up. Good process. You're like, good game, good shot. Okay, spare me the cheerleading, okay? He just got a little old to listen to it on TV. Well, he was doing his job, but, it just got old to listen to.
Well, it might be redundant to Clark as well.
It worked.
He clearly wants it. He's working with that mental coach. I guess that's maybe part of their routine, their process.
Be repetitive?
He wants that, yeah.
Okay.
They had the third grade They had the third grade teacher, the swing coach, the sports psychologist, you name it, the Boy Scout leader, a troop leader, whatever, to talk about that, because they had content to fill, because there wasn't a lot of intrigue around that thing until about the middle of the round on Sunday.
Well, maybe next time he plays in Long Island, he's got to wear his U.S. hockey jersey. Yeah. To try and keep him off his ass. This guy, that was rough, man. I'm sorry. That was.
He was
to me,
up.
Listen, I might be wrong, but my interpretation of it is the 25-something from Long Island or the New York area has to find something to be obnoxious about. And it's just that. This happened to be it. This particular day, I was not a fan.
I kept waiting for him to say bad process. No, Wendell, you're completely off here. It's a terrible process. Start over.
Who's on his bag? Nick Saban?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. It's exactly what it sounded like.
The process. All right, Wes. Process. Travelers Championship this week. Scotty Scheffler plus 450 is the favorite.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest process, is just to pick him, considering he's won here before. And it's on a Pete tie, but you know me, I don't do things the easy way. So, gonna try to beat him here. I don't blame him if you bet him though, because he's not at his peak, but he's not playing poorly. Like, it doesn't seem like he's that too far off. But I did try to challenge him, and one of the guys I tried to challenge him with is Tommy Fleetwood, who honestly, last year I got pretty lucky at this event with Keegan Bradley. Like, last year I felt like I got breaks on some of these outright. This year I'm getting none of them. So it kind of works both ways when you're in the betting game. But Tommy Fleetwood is the guy that should have won this one last year. And remember, he had a 3-stroke lead going into that final round. And then bogey's 18, Keegan Bradley walked off birdie and ends up winning the thing. But Fleetwood's kind of starting to peak now at the right time. 4th, 11th, and 11th. The 11 last week of the U.S. Open. In the last 3 events, you have this one, week off, and then you have the Scottish Open at Renaissance, where he's always played well and lost 1 year in a playoff. And then the Open is in his hometown of Southport, England, there at Royal Birkdale. So you just feel like he's peaking at the right time, and I could see him going very well this week. As can I with Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa, kind of around the same prices. High 20 is maybe around 30. Justin Thomas is pretty good on these short courses, especially these steep eye design, where he's won at Harbor Town for the Heritage. He won the Players at Sawgrass. 10 appearances here, and he's got a third and then 3 top 10s each of the last 3 years. So I think he'll go well. And then Morikawa, who doesn't really have a good track record here, but I like what I saw at the U.S. Open last week. He seemed like he was getting around at least a little better, that the back isn't bothering him quite as much as it was at the Masters. I don't think he's maybe right at 100%, but he's certainly closer. Then just became a father for the first time. And this is a course you would think would set up well for him. Wedge play and driving accuracy on a short par 70. That's what I think you have to have here, and he has it. And hopefully Patrick Cantlay does as well. Has never finished outside the top 15 here in 8 years. Missed the cut last week at the U.S. Open, but that usually hasn't mattered here. I think 4 of the last 10 winners missed the cut the week at the U.S. Open, the week following the Travelers. So Cantlay can go well. And then the 2 kind of long shots, because you really can't go too long, I don't think, at a signature event because they hadn't really cashed. But if you want to talk about good form here, Brian Harmon, the left-hander, 8 top 10s in his last 11 appearances and 5 straight top 10s over 5 years. And this is right in his wheelhouse. Short guy off the tee, but deadly accurate. And I think he'll go well here like he pretty much does every year. And maybe Ryan Gerard is going to do the same, 80-1. 4 runners-up or 4 runners-up overall since last December. Good form, runner-up at the Memorial, lost that playoff to the Postman, 10th at the Charles Schwab, another runner-up at PGA West, which is a Pete Dye designed to Scotty earlier in the year. Gerard is one of those guys that's like, man, he's got to get a win sooner or later with 4 runners-up over like the last 5 months.
All right, Wes, anything else, any Major League Baseball or including futures right now or anything else that you play?
World Cup.
I'm sorry, yes. That thing going on in our country called the World Cup. It's got some juice, man, especially with the Americans' first couple of performances.
It does, and I wish we kind of had a good arrangement going, I felt, where we had the 4 matches in one day. And now we got 6. Because we've got them all at the same time in a couple of these windows. So I like having the 4 matches spread out. That's unfortunate. But in the early match, I did take Canada and Switzerland under the 2.5. Big match for both these teams. So you're going to start to see maybe some of the scoring, I think, go down a little bit. I think you've already seen like some of the both teams to score. It was 71%. It's still 58%. But now you're starting to see it go down a little bit. So Canada, Switzerland under in the early match, but we've got 6 of them today, all day long.
Yeah, Canada, Switzerland should be a really good match. Really exciting Group B. But one thing to monitor, that other match against it at 2 o'clock, Qatar and Bosnia and Herzegovina, the winner of that match will likely play the U.S. in the round of 32. So it's almost a certainty. If Bosnia wins that, they will face the U.S. in the round of 32. So if you want to do a little scouting, I guess, if you will, on the U.S.'s next opponent, that will be at 2 o'clock today.
What happened to the English yesterday?
Made some changes?
I think they...
Anyone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Wes.
Well, I was just going to say, like, Ghana really kind of, like, pressured that middle. And England never really could get wide. Like, Ghana kind of mucked that match up, and then with their delay. But, yeah, because I was blown with the English the first game. I thought, oh, man, maybe they are going to be good. And then you looked at them yesterday, and they just looked kind of like a little bit out of sync. But I think maybe Ghana just kind of mucked up that match a little bit.
All right, Wes, we're going to be back in town for the Radio Row over at Circa, man. We're hoping to hook up with you when we're doing the shows Thursday and Friday from Circa at the end of August. So we're looking forward to that, later and right around the corner. So, Inlo, we apologize. Max is always interrupting us as well. So,
I apologize, Wes.
Hey, man. Max has probably much better soccer insights than I do. I'm just happy to have something to bet to get us by until we start that football season.
You're the best, Wes. Great stuff as always at Wes Reynolds 1, where you can find all his stuff. Thank you, buddy. All right, don't forget our friends over at Total Maintenance. Want fewer AC breakdowns, lower energy bills, and year-round peace of mind? Join the Total Maintenance membership program today. Just call 480-0007. That's 480-0007. Regular maintenance keeps your system running efficiently while catching problems before they become costly repairs with their monitoring system that this includes. If repairs are needed, they're backed by our lifetime warranty. Need a replacement? Financing is available as well. Total Maintenance, your total lifesaver. 480-0007. That's 480-0007 and tm-ac.com.
Live at Roca, live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our Wednesday consensus golf picks are brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
We were so close last week with Sam Burns, but here's the positive part of it. You're looking at the leaderboard for the Travelers. He's 6th choice. This is an elevated event. I mean, the respect factor is there. He's also cracked the top 10 in earnings this year, so he's exactly at number 10, right under $6 million for this year. So Ahead of guys like Ludwig Oberg, Xander Schauffele, Tommy Fleetwood, Russell Henley, and others. So, no, man, if he had won, Max, don't you think that would have been sort of a breakthrough for even, man, what? Just kind of get that monkey off his back a little bit?
Sure.
Or even with this performance,
I still think I am so much more confident in him now.
I am. Well, you have to be. Yes.
Yeah. I am moderately optimistic that he will get a major within the next 2 to 3 years.
Charlie, we had this discussion at Bally's on Saturday, and we were wondering, if we talked about. It's funny. Last week you were off, I think last Thursday at Walk-Ons about his career compared to David Toms. David Toms has one major, and how many? He had like 10 tour.
12.
12.
Yeah.
12. Would that be expected? Would that be a mild disappointment? If he would have the same career as he's got a lot of golf ahead of him, but if he would have the same career as, let's say, a David Toms.
I mean, Toms made 3 Ryder Cup teams. Burns has already made 2 of them, so he's on the path at age 29 to perhaps surpass him. I mean, we'll see.
But is that the kind of the expectation? But
I think 12
titles in a major.
Yeah, he's got 5 right now. He's got a 3-year drought in wins, but you'd think if he can get one on the PGA Tour at the very least, let alone a major, I think David Toms is a very fair comparison for what you're hoping his trajectory will be.
But he came out of LSU more celebrated than Toms. When they were coming out, that people thought that Burns would have a better career.
Yeah, I think in general the depth of amateur status now, like the depth of amateurs coming through college ranks, is a lot deeper. So it's a little bit harder to get through at this point. But
and David Toms may have only won one major. He is 34th on the all-time money list. So when you say there's only 33 guys that have made more money playing golf, that's a monster career.
And listen, Tom's career exceeded expectations when he came out. So 34th all time.
$41 million in career earnings on the PGA Tour.
Okay.
You know who's 35th?
Gary Woodland on the list I'm looking at.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Sam Burns.
It's Sam Burns.
Sam Burns, yeah.
So just the right time.
Are elevated.
The right time now, but he's literally basically $1 million off of David Tom's career earnings.
So he's coming off of this.
But they're obvious. The money's more.
We can't.
That's not a.
It's not a.
That's not a fair comparison.
He's coming off of a major disappointment. Now, I'm not going to in any way say that the Canadian Open is anywhere close to the U.S. Open, but last year, that near missed the 4-hole playoff at the Canadian Open where he finished second. The next week is the U.S. Open, and he comes back strong. So off of this disappointment, I know it's a much bigger disappointment. I think should feel confident that he can play well this week.
It's a disappointment, but Charlie, I'm like Max. I've got more confidence in his ability now. Yeah. I was doubting him. I mean, I was like, man, I just don't know if he's got. Man, he played his ass off Sunday, man. I'm sorry. I mean, that's a, I don't know.
9th to 7th to 2nd in the last 3 U.S. Opens for him.
He's
knocking on the door.
No, Jimmy. No. But I really think, I'd put him as an odds-on favorite to win a major at this point, and I don't know if I would have been there before last week.
I'm the same way. My confidence level is elevated considerably. I was like, I don't know. I'm flipped to the other side. I'm more than I was less than 50% a week ago, and I'm more than 50%. Giving him a chance now.
Kevin Kisner, who's not the best broadcaster in my opinion for golf, but he made an interesting point about spending time with him at Ryder Cups and getting to know Sam Burns pretty well. He said, Burns is interesting because he's one of the few guys we have out here that I almost got to calm him down in situations. He gets really fired up in moments, really emotional, like excited, and you don't really see that. I wouldn't have thought he's like the most outwardly like excited guy, but apparently in those big moments like the Ryder Cups and the majors, he gets up for it. So to see him actually, come through those nerves and play very, very well on Sunday was reassuring. I feel very good about him.
I'd go so far as to set his career majors over under at 1.5. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win one. I think there's at least a 50-50 chance he wins two.
Okay.
I think if
Captain Sunshine, man. Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
That's a little ambitious, man.
It is. It is.
Still the era of Scotty Scheffler and Rory. And,
How much tougher? How much
down.
more of a crowded field? How much tougher is the competition today
I think it's a good
than
bet.
when Tom's?
I think also
Can we quantify it? I mean,
it's it might be I don't know how to say it. It's definitely a lot better. Tiger made it a more athletic sport, and I also think the equipment has leveled the playing field. It's harder to break out. What Scotty Scheffler's doing is super impressive because the drivers have gotten so much easier to hit over the years that it's a lot harder to separate.
Sam Burns, if Sam Burns is even money to win a major now in the current landscape of golf for the next 8-10 years, whatever it is, would he have been minus 40 in Tom's era? I'm just want to quantify just how much more competitive it is.
I'd say minus 160.
Oh, really?
180.
Wow.
I think there's a difference. I think there's a clear difference.
That's a lot.
Look, there was Tiger and Phil, and then there was David Duval. You had stretches of Vijay Singh, but there's a reason a lot of those top golfers, they were really good, but there's a reason there was a lot more of these 6-win seasons, 5-win seasons back then. There wasn't as much depth in the fields.
Here, the one thing that is working against me on career majors is he has not played well on links golf. He has not cracked the top 30 in any of the British Opens that he has played. Doesn't mean he can't amend his game. Mickelson won from out of nowhere.
He looked pretty good at Links Light last weekend.
Yeah, so maybe he'll be better. Mickelson won from out of nowhere at the British, and so did Colin Morikawa.
Oh, Morikawa was.
And again,
it's not like he can't do it, but he hasn't to this point.
Harmon was a bomb.
With Burns, up until the last couple of years, he wasn't a good major track. So essentially, you're only counting 2 Open championships in terms of his best major appearances. And so, I think he'll be fine. To me, his game is good enough.
All right, who we got this week?
I'm going to start off with a guy you heard Wes mention earlier, and Justin Thomas, 29-1 this week. He is a short course king. He does tremendously well in these shorter courses. With the Travelers, is one of the shortest they'll play on the PGA Tour, and he's in good form right now. He's coming off of a pretty good finish. I had him last week. He kind of folded on Saturday. It went out of bounds, but he's got top 20 finishes in his last 5 starts. He's also played well at this golf course in recent years, so I like Justin Thomas and the form that he's in. He's always good when you put a wedge in his hands down the stretch, and I think we could see that this week at the Travelers. I mentioned top 10s in his last 3 appearances here. Aaron Rai, 55-1. You're getting a major champion at 55-1, and I think that's intriguing. He followed up his PGA Championship with an 11th place finish at the U.S. Open last week. His game is well suited for this type of golf. He's a guy who hits the fairway, put an iron in his hand, and you just need him to knock down some putts, which he obviously did a very good job of at Aronimink. But if he can knock down some putts, I could see him playing well here. He's played 3 times, not cracked the top 10 just yet, but I think he's someone who suits this course absolutely. Keith Mitchell, not known for being a good putter by any stretch of the imagination, but led the field in strokes gained putting last week. Went with a new putter, and it worked wonders for him. He was the first player ever in U.S. Open history to finish each round at even par, even, 70s in all 4 rounds, and that was good enough for a 4th place finish. He finished 6th here back in 2022, his last appearance here, but I think Keith Mitchell perhaps can parlay that good putting performance with another one here at the Travelers. Another guy I'm going to take who I've won with earlier this year, and that's Alex Fitzpatrick at 61. We were talking about the Zurich and the impact that it could have. He has just been outstanding, and once again, a decent finish of the U.S. Open, tied for 23rd. He's a good iron player and really good specifically in these wedge buckets that you'll be hitting a lot of this week at the Travelers. So somebody who's played well even at the elevated events that he's been thrust into from his win at the Zurich Classic. I think a guy he hadn't finished outside the top 30 this year on the PGA Tour all but once, and that was at the PGA Championship. So I think he's got a great chance, a great opportunity this week at TPC River Highlands. Brian Harmon, you heard Wes mention him earlier. This is a course fit, to a tee type of golf course. We've certainly seen Keegan Bradley has shown that you can have multiple repeatedly good performances at TPC River Highlands, winning 2 of the last 3 Travelers Championships. Harmon has finished in the top 10 in his last 5 appearances here. He's got another 3 on top of that as well. So he's just somebody who doesn't hit the ball very far, but he can find fairways, and you put a wedge in his hands, and he can take opportunities to score. Brian Harmon's at 68-1, and then Akshay Bhatia is at 76-1. Not really in the form that he was earlier in the year when he won at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, but nevertheless, I think he's a good enough fit here. A 5th place finish back here 2 years ago in 2024. And finally, Jimmy, when you think of Hideki Matsuyama, what do you think his odds to win an event like this would be?
I just saw how on this year's earnings, he's down the list at about like 35 or 40. So I would say he's 60-1.
He's 80-1. I think that's a little disrespectful.
I thought that was a lot. Yeah.
For a player of his caliber, a former major winner who's not had the year, as you mentioned, that you would expect him to have, but he should have won the Phoenix Open. You know, he was right there in the mix, lost in the playoffs to Chris Goddard, so he's shown he can do it. And that was another short golf course, and he is somebody who is great at these short type of tracks. So Hideki Matsuyama 80-1 to me seems a little disrespectful for a player of his caliber. So my picks this week: JT, Aaron Rai, Keith Mitchell, Alex Fitzpatrick, Brian Harmon, Akshay Bhatia, Hideki Matsuyama. Any of those hit, you make about 8 times your investment.
All right, so JT, Justin Thomas, and Brian Harmon are the consensus picks this week's, brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. What's the best number you've seen on JT?
Justin Thomas is at 29-1. I believe that's at Bally's and the Queen.
And Harmon is, speaking of Lynx winners.
Yeah, I had him when he won the Open, so I love him. He's 68-1 right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook.
There you go. Bombs away for JT and Harmon. Brought to you by our friends at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. You're a law firm for a lifetime. Getting a wreck. You got some legal issues. You don't know if you have legal issues. Let's just start with that. I mean, just take advantage of that initial consultation. Go to ocbrown.com, or you can go to, just give us a call at 343-1111 and set up that initial consultation. We'll evaluate your situation and let you know if it's in your best interest to pursue something or just leave it be. Dana and his specialized team of attorneys been at use for Charlie and I, different reasons at different stages of our lives, and we never hesitate to recommend them to people that ask us about who's a good attorney to pursue. Downtown, Dana Brown, 343-1111, and ocbrown.com.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Oh, afternoon baseball. Marlins lead the Rangers 2-1 in the 6th. Cubs and the Mets are scoreless in the 3rd, and it's raining in Chicago, where the Guardians and the White Sox have not yet started. 4 other games, going later this afternoon. Plus, we got World Cup tonight. Max, any updates on any of these matches? I know that Mexico is already through with the first 2 wins in their group, so they got really nothing to play for.
Now, I don't think that's true. I think the winner of this match wins the group.
See, that's why I asked you. Well, wait, the Czechs are 0-1. 0-1-1.
Well, they're playing Switzerland.
Am I on the right day here? This is
Canada, Switzerland. You're talking about Mexico. I'm way off. Yes,
Mexico's south of the United States. Canada's north.
Yeah, you're right. Mexico has clinched their group, so they have nothing to play for.
You talk about Kevin Kisner. I mean, you got to step your game up, boy.
If Mexico's basically a picket,
unlike NBC, I could get fired. I guess
they're basically a picket against the Czechs today. So that's got to be the second group, right? I mean, Mexico's way better than the Czechs, right?
Yes, but yeah, Mexico, like you said, you're right. They have nothing to play for. They've clinched their group already. They are advanced.
You got any other soccer picks today?
Yeah, I like the Swiss actually against Canada. I think that's they are playing for something. As I mentioned, they were tied at 4 points, so the winner of this match will advance. They have to win as well because Canada has the advantage on goal differential. The Swiss are a good side, but obviously they're doing it in Canada, so that's one thing they're going to have to overcome. But I think that's a good one to match it. watching, as I mentioned,
What time is that?
Bosnia. That's at 2 o'clock coming
Okay.
up here. And as I mentioned, just watch out for Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's a big match for the U.S. They're probably going to face Bosnia. I would imagine they would beat Qatar, but nevertheless, you want to see what Bosnia is going to look like.
So you're rooting. The Americans are rooting for Bosnia or against Bosnia?
No, they're not rooting. They're probably going to face the winner of this match. Now, it's probably going to be Bosnia. They're heavily favored. If it's a draw, it gets a little enticing on who the U.S. would play. But it's expected, as long as one of the teams win, that's who the U.S. will end up playing in the round of 32.
It's officially summer.
Yeah.
Look out for Bosnia.
Let's see. One other one, if you had a pick, Brazil's heavily favored. I would say South Africa, South Korea, the over in that match, over 2.5. I expect South Korea to score in this one.
Yeah, I will give you credit. He gave out a hell of a over the other day. I plagiarized it on. I'll give you credit on Otterlocks, but the Senegal and Norway. How about you don't want to do the Norway row, bro? Huh?
That's one of the best fan celebrations or experiences out there.
The Norway row?
The Norway row. That was one of the cooler things. The Dutch Army, though, I think is my favorite.
They're great.
Right
the U.S. We're not very good at chants. That's the one thing I've learned. If you watch soccer, we could be a lot better.
We've never had anything to chant for.
Nigel, the England game, they were minus 650 to win on a three-way. I mean, that's a massive favorite. They had 0-0 tie against Ghana, and he said they're playing the best day of my life. That's a very mediocre day here today.
Thanks to Roka. Stay tuned for Hunt on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.